Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
The normal variable which we are setting with so much of content. You see here, the book is the root tag, and inside it we have two books. So this is the close of season. The entire content, whatever you're seeing, the books tag as the root tag, books as the root tag, and having two values in it, everything is set into the XML text variable. And this is a normal variable, not an XPath expression or something. It is we are using the core set tag to set this variable. It's just a normal string which is containing this XML content inside it. And we are using the XPath to extract this or to pass this XML and have it as a output variable. So we have that pass content in a variable output. So if you want to use it, or get like the book expression, or you want to get the the author of a specific book, the price of a specific book, we're going to operate from the output tag. So if you're using if it checks the XPath expression and it checks this expression, if the price of the second book is greater than 100, the same book of one, second book is greater than 100, it prints book prices are very high. It's as simple, it's the same as equivalent if, but it operates on an XPath expression against a normal value. So if it is true, the content inside this XColon if gets printed. If not, it just ignores. And then we have to set the XPath fragments, they have the XColon set. So from the output, we're just getting the book and we're trying to put it in a variable fragment so that we could use this XPath expression variable later. And this XColon choose is used among multiple things. So you want to, if this is true, this gets executed. If the second expression is true, this gets executed. If none of the expressions, when the present XColon when a value is true, it executes the content of this otherwise block. So an XColon for us is used to iterate. Like say if you have some, the book, you want to select the name and you just want to print it out as a book name. For it is used for the iteration. So these, the XML tags look similar from the functionality perspective, like the core tag. If you remember the core tags that we have learned in the previous class, right? It's more similar. So in the last class, we were using the C columns for each to iterate and print some stuff, right? And we are using the C column choose, right? Which has which is a weight variable, and printed some, such less than 0, greater than 0, right? So even the XML tag functions the same way. but they operate on XPath expression. So, when you pass the XML, we get an XPath expression against a value. So these they operate on XPath expression. Yes, please. This is printing, books info, and here after passing it, we're checking, exponent is select. If the output has anything like a book, and if any tag is name of the book, so it prints document has at least one book element. And further on, we are trying to get second book price, and we're checking if it is greater than 100. If it is, we are printing book prices are very high, right? And then we're saying the output book order is equals to Zara. We're printing the book is written by Zara. We're using a X-colon one. We're checking the output book order is Zara. We're just printing it out. So we're using a one and otherwise over here to get it out. And we are using a for each to just iterate and print out the book name. Folks, any doubts in this?
Hey, I have got one doubt. In the if statement, right? You have put books one. So is it referring to only one of the element?
Yes. It's because we can specify book of 0, book of 1. We are starting to a specific book.
Okay. Because when you chose that book of 1, and if the price is greater than 100, then you should print this value. But I guess the value is 100 over there, right?
See, in the second one, it's 2000, right? You see it? So it's greater than 2000. That's why it's printing this. So this expression is evaluating to true. So when it evaluates to true, it prints this.
Okay. Right. I forgot, the starting index is 0.
Yes.
Neha, did you create an XSD file or anything from this XML?
No. The XML content, I have just specified it. That I have specified it just like this. You remember using the C-colon set, we can set any variables like string, names, and all that, right?
Right.
So in the same way, Saroj, we are just setting this. There are no XSDs, nothing here. I just specified this as a string content. As good as I'm string S is equal to I'm putting all the XML content. You understand?
Sure. Thank you.
So, it's a little big, but everything is nested inside a C-colon set. We're just setting a variable XML text. It's normal text. It's an XML text that we have, and we are passing that XML text.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
What does it mean by parsing, and what exactly we're doing?
Parsing is basically extracting, going to the first node, extracting the tail element, and going ahead. That's what we call it as a parsing. Let's say I have this XML document. I just want to find out the price of the book for whom order is Zara, right? So I go to the root tag and go here, and if order is Zara, and I try to get the price of it. That's what we mean by parsing.
Okay, so other question is, can we use a file instead of writing our own XML over here?
Yes.
I have an XML file. Okay.
Yes. We saw the file input and output, right? Remember? At the end of the core Java. So you can extract a file and you can convert it into a text, right? You can read it using any reader. You can convert it to text. So that part is missing. Now you can write code before this to get this XML text as a string after reading the file.
Okay, so do we need to use some kind of parser, or we can directly use
No, it's you're reading a file. So it internally has its own parser. You're not writing code to parse it. You're using this tag to parse it. The code which we have to write is reading the file.
Okay. Yeah.
So here, before this, you should write code over here to read a file and finally read it and make it as a like a string variable, and you could use this variable to and like the string context and string content, and you could pass it Manoj. Is it clear?
Okay. Okay. One more thing, where we are using this one, like this, like any general example.
See, in general examples, like, sometimes we want to create, from a specific content of an XML, we want to make the website or the data that we display on the website dynamically. So that's when we use it. I think the XSLT is dominating this nowadays. Probably it's XSLT.
So what exactly is that?
XSL transformation. So it's used to convert one XML file to another or process the XML file and all this. So these kind of things, when you want to dynamically, some kind of search wherein you already have a loaded XML file and you want to search it. I mean, basically, when you have the persistence as an XML file, you try to read out of it.
Okay.
Or extract out of it.
And what's the relation with XSLT here?
No. The same thing we could do with XSLT also. Like instead of same thing could be achieved with XSLT. So you want to iterate through it. It has like same tags like XSL colon if and all these things. So it's the same thing. It's something similar to the JSL XML tag.
Okay. What exactly this DTD here, loose.dtd, kind of, it's a type of DTD or kind of schema or something else? You see in the first line doc type.
You're talking about this, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a document type definition that we're just specifying it, that we're using HTML4. So if you're using HTML5, it's going to be different.
So is it required that we should use the DTD every time? And I don't have any clue about DTDs or schema, what we call that.
I know, it's a document type definition, like this thing is treated as a document, right? The entire thing, whatever you put. So the definition, whatever we are using is what is specified over here. So here we are using the HTML4 document type definition, so we're just specifying it there.
Okay. So is it like in DTDs, it's kind of a schema for XML file? Because I see a lot of XML files at the beginning, they're using some kind of schema every time, like in Webservices, I guess.
Yes, see, that is XML schema definition, XSD. Okay? So everyone listen very carefully. XSD is different from DTD. XSD is XML schema definition. So, what is a schema? A table schema tells us how the data should be, right? So, if a table has, the schema has a first name, last name, and this, so each record has a first name, last name, and it's specified as a string, this is integer, the salary can be a decimal, right? So, an XSD defines how an XML should look like, right? So, if this is my XML, so what should be my XSD? So, please pay attention. Anyway, I think we're going to discuss in further class. The root element, I say it as this, and I have both. So, name, it could be a string, and order is a string, and size, I mentioned it as an int, right? So, XSD is XML schema definition. It specifies how an XML should look like.
So in the same manner, DTD is for HTML. Like how should HTML file look like?
No, it's what we're using inside this.
Okay.
See, okay, let me tell you this way. DTD tells you what you could have inside this XML. So XML doesn't have any rules against the tags, right? You can use any tag you want, right?
Okay.
So the DTD defines the structure with some elements that are allowed and some attributes that are allowed. So let's say in title, can I have an attribute variable here? has directory and language. I cannot use anything else, right? How does we know this? That's part of this DTD. So this title tag takes only this, and I cannot have a tag by name title one, right? So whatever the tags are allowed, whatever the attributes, the elements inside that's specified as a DTD. I mean, it is to specify what are the blocks that could be part of this XML document. Does it make sense?
XML document or?
I mean, see, this is an XML document. Any XML document, we specify like this. I mean, I'm talking DTD in general, but here we are specifying for XML, for HTML.
Okay. So for HTML, we are specifying the DTD over here. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So that's DTD in general. So what the XML tag can take, right? I can write my own XML having my own tag, a root tag as H2K Infosys, inner tag as the class, one is Java, one is QTP, and right, one is BI. So the tags, whatever is allowed in this specific XML, should be specified as part of a DTD. Okay. Manoj, are you clear?
Yeah, I was just searching on the web.
Okay.
I'm always confused about the DTD and XSD, so that's why.
I think DTD is an older way of defining the structure of the.
Whatever the stakes, right? And XSD specifies how much XML should look like. Like, here I can use the tags. These are the things that are allowed inside it. That's what a DTD specifies. But an XSD is the schema of an XML file.
Okay, yeah. Because I never had a connection with this front end, so I'm always confused about front end.
Yeah, I think both are same. I think DTD is the older way of defining, and XSD is the newer version.
See, the DTD, I mean, they are more kind of a closely related. Right? See, we cannot generate XML or convert Java to XML using a DTD, but we do with an XSD. So, that's what I could say for you to understand in a more specific usage, like from the usage perspective, in a real time, how do we use it? Is an XSD, for example, let's say you want to convert a Java object to XML and XML to Java, right? The routing, we use it as an XSD. So, okay, this XML schema is this, right? So, in that scenario, we write XSDs and use those XSDs for the two ends of conversion. I mean, maybe we use something else for that, but actually, the inputs of how it looks like saved from an XSD file. So that's an XSD. Manoj, are you convinced? I think Saroj, of course, everyone. Do you have any doubts?
Neha, in the real life, do we have to remember this whole part? Or we just copy some file and then put it in our the file.
The DTD?
Yeah, DTD or XSD, whatever is that is doc type, HTML, public.
Usually DTD we specify how many number of JSPs I created just includes a doc type of specifying. But yeah, we create XSDs. There are some scenarios wherein we need to create XSDs. See, okay, let me tell you this way. DTDs are like the older version, and XSDs have many provisions that they provide, like namespaces and all those things, which a DTD cannot.
my question is that do we have, when we are as a programmer, do I have to know that whole line, dog type, HTML public, and then that whole line I have to remember, or I just copy this from somewhere and put it in my code?
See, actually, we just do a copy paste. But in general, if you go and create this, it specifically gives you. We don't try kind of, mug up or have all these things at the top of your head. If you just get a sample JSP, you just have it. And this, if you ever have some JSPs in your entire project, it's going to be the same. So, real time, maybe it's a little odd to hear. How do we create a JSP page? We create a JSP page. We just copy paste and JSP page which already exists in the project, and we try to tweak on top of it. You understand it, Saroj?
Yes, I do.
Yes, but we should be sensible enough that if at all we are using an HTML5 in a project, we should get and put the HTML5 over here, right? You don't need to know, like, the contents or hyphens and all these things. But we should know, why are we using this, or, to solve some kind of an issues we are facing. But we don't need to kind of mug up this what exactly we do to include it and all those things. So, any other doubts? Okay. So, folks, we have different JSPL functions. There's some tags for the functions. It's like with more the operation of us on a string, like the contains ignoring the case, or if the string ends with the specified suffix. So we have the contains to see if a specific, let's say I have Saruj. So if it is Saruj, contains of OZ, right? So it checks if the string contains in the specified substring. So, and we have the ignore case for it, and to check if the string ends with a suffix. So all these functions are around operating of the string, the different functions, and the index of it returns index. I have a bigger string and I have a substring of it. So it gives the first index of first occurrence, the index of the first occurrence of the substring. Let's say I have a string 1 and I have a string 2 with a smaller part of string 1. So the index of returns the index of the first occurrence of string 2 inside string 1. So, and we have the join, which joins all, let's say I have an array and it has 3 elements inside that array, right? So I can specify a hyphen or comma. So it says the ABC, so A hyphen B hyphen C. So an array, it forms into a single string. It's the opposite of a split. So if I have a string, I can split it based on, if I have A comma B comma C, I can split it based on a comma and I get an array of substrings. Let's say I get 3. The join does the reverse of it. So when we have an array, it joins all the strings present in the array. So we get length to get the number of items in the collections, or the length to get the number of characters in a string, and we have the replace. So we can replace a specific string or with another string. These are more on string based, so 2 lowercase or substring after or substring before, and string to remove the spaces at the end of the string. So we have different functions to just do some functions on a string. So folks, do you remember the string class, java.lang.string? What's the unique feature of the string class? Folks, what is the unique feature of the string class?
What did you ask?
What is the unique feature of the string class?
Unique?
Feature.
Immutable.
Yes.
Immutable. It's a immutable
Yes.
class.
Immutable. The first thing that comes to our mind when we talk about string class is immutable. String objects are immutable. What do we mean by immutable?
Once created, it
Cannot-
can't change.
Once we
Cannot be
create
extended further.
We can't change.
string object, once created, we cannot change it, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I have a string s is equal to abc, and I say s dot concat of def. So what happens when I say s dot concat of def?
You create a new object using the old immutable object,
Okay.
string object.
Yes. We have the old object abc, and it creates a new object abcdef. So we have two different objects. One is abc, and the other is abcdef. So let's say I'm not interested. I'm doing so much of calculation, and I'm not interested in any of these intermediate strings. I just want the final result. So what would we use? We use a string, or we have an
String buffer.
alternative for it.
String buffer.
We use string buffer. So when let's say we are adding, we're doing more operations on a string, and we are not interested in any of the intermediate results. We just want the final string. We use a string buffer because we don't want to unnecessarily create objects. When you say a string, if I have a loop and I'm trying to add something in the loop, it creates a large number of string objects. So we shouldn't be using a string in that case. We should be using string buffer. Yes.
Neha, can I ask one question?
Yes.
I mean, is it generally being asked in the interview why Java has kept string as immutable? Why it's not mutable?
Yes.
Can you talk about it?
Yes. String has a concept of constant pool. Right? See, there are so many reasons, and it's a small debatable question in Java world. But some of the few reasons like we can talk about is string has a constant pool. So there are so many times wherein we want to create a string, we end up creating so many strings. So if you're using the same string, it does not create a new string. Let's say I have in my class, here as a string specific, okay, A1 is equal to so after this line, after the execution of these two lines, how many objects get created?
One object.
Sorry?
Two objects.
One object.
One object, right?
Oh, you said
Two
ABC.
objects.
Okay, I thought ACV something.
Okay.
So it will be one object referred by two variables.
Yeah, one of
So see, so both these strings, both these reference variables will be pointing to the same string in the constant. It's also part of a memory. So we just call it as a constant. So if at all you're trying to modify this event of something, right? So A2 is also referring to it, right? We haven't created a new string object, or the Java hasn't created a new string object. To be more precise, the Java doesn't create a new string object in this case because they both share the same string. If it is ever able to modify it on saying A1, this A2 is not pointing to the right value that it is supposed to, isn't it? That's more kind of one of the convincing reasons for it. The constant pool is maintained or organized, keeping the memory constraint as we usually deal with, so many strings, and the reusability is more of an important thing that needs to be considered. So we call it as a constant pool. It's still, of course, a part of the memory wherein just the strings reside. But okay, so what happens after the execution of this tree line? So here we have two objects, right? So how many objects will be present here?
I thought Neha, we have one object. ABC and ABC is the object, right? So isn't it that whole one object?
See here, sorry, I'm very sorry. It's only one object. That's my type. Object. Yeah. So how many objects do we have here?
Two.
After this line, we have two objects, right? Let's say if I specify this line right here. So how many objects will get created after this line?
One.
One all the time?
Yeah, I mean after this line, because if you say new string, it will create object. If you say string A1 is equal to ABC, it will search in a string pool first.
Yes, it searches in the constant pool. If it's not present, it creates one in the constant pool, right?
Yeah.
So, and here if I'm saying A1 equals A2, right? What will be my output?
That will be true. Because it's pointing to the same object. We are checking a reference.
Folks, if someone not able to understand it, please stop me. Stop all of it.
I have a confusion here, Neha.
So here.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I have a confusion here. The string S is equal to new string ABC. That was when it was after A2. You told there will be two objects created after string S, new string ABC.
See,
keep it above.
Here when we come here, we'll be having two objects. After the three lines of execution, we'll be having two objects. Two objects here.
But if I execute string S is equal to new string ABC, then it will be creating an object which has ABC.
If it is not there in the constant pool, it creates one.
Then what will happen if string A1 is equal to ABC L2? Then what will happen?
A1 just points to the string in the constant pool. It does not create a new one.
So
it points to the string that's already present in the constant pool.
That means it will be pointing to the string which was pointed by string S, right?
Which is pointed by
string S.
No. See, in this line, if there is no string.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2KInfosys.com. On our website H2KInfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020 337 17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.